For me, my architecture needs to be poetic in itself. When I walk into a space, I need to feel inspired, and hence art plays a pivotal role. In a way, Instagram has its own method of pushing you in a direction that it wants you to go in. Right? And it's very easy when you're getting the followers to keep going down that road. To me, art is something that tells a story, and to each person, his own.
Hello everyone, we are back with another episode, and this time I have with me the very shy but extremely intelligent and very articulate Apoorva Shroff of Lyth Design. And I'm going to talk to her about her beautiful Khandala home, her relationship with art and design, and all the fabulous work that she's been doing in the recent times. Thank you, Apoorva, for being with me here and for agreeing to do this conversation. I know I had to convince you a little, but I'm glad you said a yes.
Thank you, Kamna, for convincing me to be here.
So I'm going to kickstart. I think your body of work, you've done everything from bungalows to your fabulous holiday homes and others and commercial projects. What is it that you like to do, and where do you resonate? Where does your design style resonate the most? Tell us a little about your journey with design and all the fabulous work that you've done.
I think when I look back, if I had to talk about the one project that maybe, changed things around for me,
right,
it would probably be my husband Kunal's small office, Chris Capital.
Mm-hmm.
So the first office he didn't give me because he said it was conflict of interest.
Okay.
And then they were really unhappy. And his partner said, okay, you stay out of it. We're going to ask Apu to do it.
Right.
And this was still when I was with Red at that point. And it was a small little office, 2,000 square feet, finished it. But it made such a big impact. We got GA after that. We got Apex. We got a lot of private equity offices. And then came SoftBank. And SoftBank, actually, I got a call from her one fine day saying, you think you can work in Shanghai? And I was like, yes. And then Shanghai happened, and now she approached me last year to do their San Francisco office. So I definitely think it was Chris Capital that put that little mark on my career.
But did you always want to become a designer when you were young? What was young Apoorva like?
Okay, this is a funny story, and I've said it once before. I always had that little artistic flair. And I used to tell my mom I want to be an artist, like a sculptor. Sculptor. Sorry. And so I used to work in a bank, and she came back one fine day and said to me, there are these builders and they have an account in my bank, and the architect gets sent all around the world to see buildings and come back home and design. And he gets to keep the penthouse of that building that he designed.
That stuck with you.
That was the day I said, yes, I want to be an architect. But I'm yet to find that builder who's going to give me this opportunity to keep the penthouse that I designed.
Didn't you ask your mom which one was that client that she was referring to?
Never mind.
So how were the younger days? What were you like in college? And then when you started practicing as early, today when you look at young kids versus what you were, what do you think usually?
I think getting into architecture school was just one of those tukkas. I didn't have any architect in the family. And I didn't even know what architecture was when I started doing it. It was just, I knew I had done science and I didn't want to do engineering. And
right.
There was architecture as one of those fields that was out there, and I started architecture school. It was only, once I started architecture, did I realize what it takes to turn from this, new, fresh student into being a professional.
Right.
And those initial years were just fun. And I remember presentations that we used to do, that first presentation, first year architecture, there was some Mughal architecture, something. We went with the chart papers with burnt edges and wrapped it in like this kapda.
How dramatic.
And there was one kid in my class who already had an architect father.
Okay.
And hers was so professional and fully like scripted, perfect font. And slowly you start realizing how what professionalism is.
Correct.
That fine line that converts you from the other side to this side, and it takes all of 5 years, I think, to get you there.
The design and the architecture fraternities changed drastically from the time you started practicing. Let's say, how do you feel about the change or the evolution in the last 5 years? And I want you to tell me from 2 point of views. One, as a practicing professional in the industry, and second, how do you feel the consumers have changed?
So I think the big difference from the time that I started to today would probably be the impact of social media. For us, you literally used to pick up books in a library, turn those crisp pages, and then if you saw a project featured, that would be your guru for the day or for the month, and inspiration and all of that, right? And today you may pick up your phone and flip through, Pinterest or Instagram, and as not poetic as that sounds, it does have its merits as well. I mean, despite being 20 years in the field, I just started my own practice last year. And it's given me a terrific, tremendous platform to put myself out there and make people aware of my brand, right? And I feel every new architect that starts today has that to their advantage. How they use it, of course, is completely up to them.
Correct.
The other, I think, impact or change rather that I've seen in the last few years is that vendors maybe do a lot to bring architects together. So in a way, they try to host these events where the fraternity meets and greets.
Correct.
They get a point of entry into
the world
themselves.
Right.
And what that has definitely done, I think, is bring architects a lot closer. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of work for everybody. And when you meet each other and talk about what you do, you inspire each other in different ways. And we learn from each other, right? So I think there's so much more awareness of what people are doing. And that's a big change. So for me, it's a huge positive, and the more the merrier.
And this is a personal question I'm asking. I know you as a personality are very shy, very private, and you like to keep to yourself. But when I look at your social media, I see a completely different Apoorva, and I'm like, is this the Apoorva I know? How do you? And I know I know it doesn't come to you naturally, but how do you go about doing it and just kind of acing it?
Okay, thank you for that compliment. I don't know about acing it, but we each do what we can, a little bit, little by little, right?
Right.
So maybe I was not so confident opening a door before, but today I will open it very confidently. So yeah, you live and learn. But honestly, it just came from a place of need, and then it teaches you. I mean, in a way, Instagram has its own method of pushing you in a direction that it wants you to go in.
Right.
And it's very easy when you're getting the followers to keep going down that road. But once in a while, it's important to just check, step back and see, is this what I really want my page to reflect? And then whatever, alter it.
Correct.
And go in the direction that you want despite being pushed.
Right.
So yeah, things didn't come easy, and you live and learn. There are still things that you put out and get like strange comments over.
That will always happen. That's social media for you.
Yeah, but that's the whole process of learning.
Correct. I want to talk a little bit about the role of art in design for you per se. What role does art play in your design, or whether it's interiors or architecture? I know for a fact, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't go fully deep into it, but there's always this one art piece that you will add, which will become like a conversation starter. Tell me, how do you approach it?
Okay, so for one, I think I come from a place where architecture itself is art. Okay, so be it my Kandala home or my influences, for me, my architecture needs to be poetic in itself. Okay, when I walk into a space, I need to feel inspired, and hence art plays a pivotal role. When it comes to actually finding pieces to put, I again start from what I've been given. So if the client comes with their own share of collectibles,
Right.
that is the best possible beginning,
Uh-huh.
right? Because for me, art is something that tells a story, and to each person, his own. If it doesn't mean anything, doesn't mean anything. But if it was handed over by your grandmother, or it fell
Some story behind it.
fixed it, any of that, right?
Right.
Automatically becomes precious.
Correct.
And if the client comes with something that they have a memory attached to, nothing more precious than that. And so that's what I would do for introducing art into my projects.
Right.
The last resort would be to actually then go out and
Procure
art.
So again, I'm sure you come across two kinds of clients, and you briefly touched upon it. One who've collected pieces and have moved it to it. One who don't have any art but want to embrace art and want to kind of take baby steps into it. How do you go about educating them, buying art for them?
So again, I think we all have a lot of wealthy clients today, and most would want to just go out there and pick up brand names.
Right.
And I would definitely advise against that, because if you're going to looking at art as an investment, saying, okay, the value of this will grow over the next few years, you might just be stuck looking at something that you detest in your bedroom or your bed, or,
On one of your walls.
front of you.
Correct.
So I would say just go out there, and if you like something, it speaks to you, there is again a story that it tells that moves you, then that is what you need to buy. Whether it is expensive or not is irrelevant.
It's secondary or irrelevant, like you said. You see a lot of brands collaborating with designers, fashion designers, architects. What do you feel about this, brands collaborating with creative minds? How do you view this?
Okay, so first of all, I feel that collaboration is a term that is being used really loosely and freely today, right? Anything you say is a collaboration, or like I get so many messages on Instagram from so many different people saying, let's collaborate. And initially I used to get excited saying, oh wow, it's because I'm just starting off.
Sure.
I'm like, oh, it's a collaboration. What do they want? And they're like, oh, they just want me to buy this from them. And that's what...
Post about it or something. Yeah.
So yes, I'm going to say alliance and not use the word collab.
I like that.
So I think there are only positives to alliances. You need to know what your limitations are, and if you can team up with somebody who can complement you, supplement you with what you are lacking, there can only be a positive outcome.
You mentioned it's been 20 years in the business as a practicing architect designers. Today, what inspires you and what challenges you? What are your challenges and what are your inspirations?
Okay, so I want to be a little poetic about it.
Please go ahead.
So I would say anything and everything, from be it the sounds of nature, or a person that makes you smile, words that make you think, a gift that has been wrapped so beautifully that you don't want to open it, a movie that makes you laugh. You can find inspiration in anything. And that's what it is. It's that one moment where you see something and you say,
That's the moment.
yes.
What about challenges?
So it's the same thing, right? It's like if I'm stuck and I can't think of what to do, just go for a walk in nature. Just look at some leaf pattern and,
And get the mind rolling.
and get the mind rolling.
Amazing. We're at Hands, and I'm sure you've kind of gone through the offerings that they have. If you have to give me one word for the brand and the carpets that they do, what would that word be?
I would say exotic, because there are lots of prints here that I haven't seen.
You've started your own practice. That's like a challenge in itself in today's times. But where do you see yourself 5 years down the line?
Oh my God, I keep asking myself that all the time. It's like, it's such an important question, honestly, when, you speak about rat races and you speak about what you want to do in life. And I have set myself that one question that I will ask myself every year. What do you want from this year? And honestly, I just want to be happy and at peace. I I think we all have been gifted a special life, and I don't want it to flow away being too busy.
Right.
I don't want to miss a single second of my kids growing up, and I just want to make the most of every person that is close to me and not miss out on anybody.
That's the most beautiful way to have any sort of an ambition towards life, because I think you very correctly said, in the rat race we tend to forget that these are the most important parts of life. Thank you so much, Apoorva. As always, it was amazing and lovely to talk to you. And you were brilliant. So everything that you said, I am going to be shy. Like I said in your introduction, you were nothing close to being shy. But thank you so much for doing this with us.